Let's talk to Allie, who has been waiting on the line for some time now. Allie, you are live on Truth Wanted. What's going on?
Hi. Oh my God, this is so weird. I'm so excited. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. You sound really excited.
I am. I've been wanting to call and talk about this kind of thing for a while. I'm just really excited to finally be doing that.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, let's have it. What's going on?
Okay, so my situation, I grew up as a Christian, and then as I was in college, I left that and kind of became a very new agey type of person. And I was very, I was very vocal about all I was gaining from, tarot reading and crystal healing. And I was known in my little like artsy community as like that girl. If you want to know about tarot, go ask her. However, over the last year and a half, I've, gotten way more into the philosophical side of, is it actually true? And
Sure.
I've come to the conclusion that it's not. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's quite an identity shift then.
Yeah. So the situation I'm in right now is that here's the other thing, is that I'm really into straight epistemology, and yesterday I went out for the first time to like do it myself, and I want to go do that more. And I realize I'm going to kind of have to perhaps talk to my spiritual friends and let them know, hey, I don't actually think that rock is healing you. And I don't know how to approach that with them. And it's harder than any of my like Christian community.
Yeah.
Because you see the issue there?
Yeah, I see the issue there. And like, you're definitely not alone. Like these topics are really awkward to talk about for multiple reasons. One of them being like, these are people's identities that you are messing with. Like you said, I mean, like you said, you were that girl. You weren't talking like, when I talk about me being an atheist, I'm not necessarily saying anything about my personality, but like when I talked about how I was as a Christian, like that actively described like some of my behaviors. Like I've had people, I don't know if you've had this experience, Allie, but I've had people tell me before, oh, Dan, you're just so nice. I thought you were a Christian. Right. Cause like there's like an identity thing going on there. And when you mess with that a little bit, that becomes a bit harder to deconstruct. And the healing stuff, the new age stuff, I mean, that could be a part of that too, if it's a really integral belief system, right? So like, yeah, what's the best way to talk about it? I'll tell you this, Allie, there is no best way to talk about it. There is no best way to talk about it. The best way to talk about it, I mean, well, the best way you can start to talk about it is to just bring it up. Say that you're interested. Say that like, hey, like this is something I've been thinking about and I wanted to talk about this with you because you're a friend of mine. And I know that this is something that you're really into, you really believe. And like, I just wanted to see if these questions made sense to you or what you would say about it. Because ultimately, that's what I try to do when I talk to people. I'm genuinely interested in what people have to say most of the time, right? Like I want to know how people come to the beliefs that they do. I want to know those reasons because I want to know if they are good reasons. And if they are good reasons, I'd like to adopt those beliefs for myself. And so I think there's an attitude that you can take towards this that's not hostile. That's not like I'm here to come tear down everything you believe. It's look, you have this interesting belief. I have a lot of questions about this belief. Would you mind if we had a conversation about it? And I think that's the best strategy you can take. But I don't know. What do you think?
I try to have that in most situations, and that makes a lot of sense. I think the biggest hurdle to this is the fact that they still assume that I agree with them in all these beliefs, and I don't know how to kind of come out of the closet in that sense.
So here,
they just
Let me ask you this. Do you think having this conversation with them, do you think that's going to reveal that you're a bit more skeptical of your position? Is that a worry of yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, it's not. It's honestly just because if I was having this conversation, if I was having this conversation with a stranger, it would be much more easy to just be, curious, asking the questions. But from a friend, I worry that they might feel betrayed, or they might not know, they might think of me different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with the pandemic, I have my one little pod that I see, and them specifically,
I totally know what you mean, Allie. I totally know what you mean, because I am there are still people that from my personal life who find out that I do this show and that's a surprise to them, because they knew this other Dan, this Christian Dan that did these Bible studies and was hanging out at the church all the time and doing all that kind of stuff. So I totally understand wanting to avoid that shock, right? I've had better times coming out about it, and I've had really bad times coming out about it. But at the end of the day, Allie, what I've realized is I am happiest now than I've ever been, because I am the most honest with myself than I've ever been. Because there's a lot of people in my life that I had to continue, and there's still people in my life that fully don't know, but for the longest time, I had to pretend like I was somebody that I wasn't. And that's a stressful place to be in, to keep up those appearances and stuff. And, this kind of coming out of the closet experience is unfortunately a necessary thing, I think, because you will never have a true level of friendship with the person that you want to have that friendship with unless they really know who you are. And if they love you for who you are and they genuinely like you for you, then they should be able to overcome that and get through that with you. I have friends that I was friends with when I was Christian who are still friends with me, and I have people who aren't friends with me anymore. And I learned who my real friends were. And I know now with the pandemic and stuff, it's especially harder to do. But I promise you, Allie, it's in the long run, it's so much worth it. I wish I could have came out sooner, honestly. I think doing this show and doing other stuff made it more complicated for me personally. But you don't have your face plastered over the internet where people can Google you and stuff, right? You're just a person who has questions, who has doubts about things, and you know what? That's okay, and you should feel okay for asking questions. So anyway, that's my take on it.
And I think you're right. Yeah, and I am really passionate about getting people to think more, and I really want to be kind of a voice of the secular community in where I live, because there's no secular understanding where I live. It's so religious, and so I feel as soon as I can get out there and speak for us, because nobody else is right now. There's just a hurdle to that. So I appreciate the insight.
Yeah, Dr. Josh, do you have any insight on this as well?
I mean, I think you've said it well. I think that people want to be heard, people want to be loved, and you sound like the type of personality that really cares about the people that you're going to engage with, and I think that comes through when you talk to them. So one thing that nobody wants to hear, obviously, is somebody talking down to them, and so I think that being able to come out honestly and to say, if somebody does give you pushback, about, I can't believe you've betrayed us. I mean, I probably came out as at least as an atheist. As an agnostic, I guess it's 11 years now. And, I had a conversation with my mother quite recently, who is still a fundamentalist evangelical Christian. And she's, still praying for me and wants to know why I've done this. But so I don't know that stuff ever goes away. But I just think that being a genuine person that cares about the people that you're engaging with, and talking to really is in my experience, for what that's worth, is really the key, letting people know that you love and care about them.
Yeah. I've talked to people too, where the last people I ever thought would ever be an atheist became an atheist years later that I hadn't kept up with them. One of the callers on the show, Emily, was one of those people. That was a couple episodes back where they called in, somebody that I knew back when we were both teenagers. It was just wow, I didn't think we would be where we are, but people can surprise you. So I wouldn't be surprised either if maybe your friends also have doubts, but they're afraid to talk about it. And they don't have anybody to talk to because they're afraid of the same social pressure. I mean, you can change a lot just in your own community. So that's something to think about too.
That's so true. That reminds me, my sister and I both became atheists on our own after we like left the house.
So there you go.
And moved away. And when we both realized it was a revelation. So I feel a whole lot better.
Oh, good. Yeah, like I'm totally encouraging the street epistemology thing. Go for it. If you want to have those conversations, I agree with you. Having conversations with strangers is way easier than having it with friends and family. And I know that from doing this every week, but like, I promise you, like once you get over that hurdle and once you're able to talk to people about it, by the way, you should join the Atheist Community of Austin Discord and share your experiences as well. If you don't have a community. Yeah. Well, just find a community that you can debrief this too, because like that was super helpful for me. I know, being able to talk about it with people I could trust. And I recommend that to you as well.
I'm going to get on that. I'm so bad at social media and all that. I'm like a grandpa, but I'm going to do that right after I get off this call. Like,
cool.
Awesome. To have these ideas. Oh, and after I get off this call as well, I think I'll go be a patron on the Patreon if you need a new patron. So you can give me a shout out.
That's what's up. Yeah, we'll give you a shout out, Allie, for sure. Thank you for doing that. And I hope we are helpful here. I know it's super hard, and there's still, like I said, there's still people that I haven't talked to about this because they're not people I talk to every day. They don't necessarily need to know. But if these are your friends, it's going to happen eventually. I say rip that Band-Aid off as soon as you can, as long as you are in a safe place to do it. I want to advise that if you're not financially dependent on these people, and if you're not afraid of physical harm, and it's just a social awkwardness, I say, look, that's it. You got to do it. But anyway, Ali, thanks so much for calling in. Appreciate your call. I hope things go well for you. Absolutely. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
That was nice. I hope Allie's conversations with her friends go well, but I stand by the fact that I'm in a much better place now that I'm honest with myself with who I am, especially now that I'm older. You know, I think part of it too was the awkwardness of being in college and still trying to figure out the whole who am I kind of thing, and wanting to have stable relationships with people. And when you have an identity shift that grand, that affects that stability as well. So there's a lot of factors that go into this, but I still stand by the fact that you should do it. You should totally do it. Because man, it's so worth it, at least for me right now. So I don't know. Any other thoughts on that, Dr. Josh? Or
no, I feel like you said it real well.
All right. Well, Allie, definitely reach out as well. Email the show. It's truth@atheist-community.org. I would love to hear a follow-up on that if you don't call in to the show again, which would be welcome as well.